think we are live. Model Afflicted Mondays. Let's just check we're live before I. Yep, it looks like it. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. Kicking it off. Bust the music.
It's the echo in your brain. You know you can't sustain the misconceptions in your mind. One day you'll see for sure what all of this was for. Then you can leave it all behind. The journey begins. I am the one, yeah, that will show the proof. I am the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the Logos. In the beginning was found this thing that cannot speak. It's how we all truly learn. It's only ever attained when one lets go of fear. So don't let wisdom pass you by. The journey begins. I am the one, yeah, that will show the proof. I am the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the Logos. It was there all along. How could I never have seen this thing that's danced all around? It wasn't until I left behind the things I believed that I could see things so clear. The journey begins. Become the one, yeah, that will show the proof. Become the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. Become the whispers of the logic in their mind. Become an agent of the Logos. Become an agent of the Logos. We are the agents of the Logos.
And I think we're done. We're in. We are live. Boom. We are live, and it's Model Affliction Mondays. Welcome. My name's Bev, and I'm Model Afflicted. Well, actually, I'm getting less so. Especially after the discovery we've had today. It's quite good fun. Ready for it? Right. I don't want to be telling everybody just yet. We're giving the secrets away. But we've had a bit of a fun time today. Come to a bit of a revelation about the model. Again, we'd already found a couple of paradoxes that are being denied. It's strange that we managed to find them as well, because we're the ones that are least model afflicted. But I'm guessing if you can look from it from the outside, then you get to see a broader picture of the model without being afflicted by the model. When the model doesn't have to dictate anything to you, you sort of can see a better picture of it, and you can see the conflictions that occur within the model. So the main one we learnt today, Peach Viper in the chat, perpendicular. That was the I think that was the sort of the beginning of us finding out that there's a problem, because within the where the switch occurred, it's based around the perpendicular. It's one of the main problems that they have, mainly because that perpendicular, you pass it through, all the right angles are equal. And they're right angles for a reason. When you have two right angles together, as would be with the triangle axiom, in the state where no triangle would be formed, leaves you with two parallel lines. And that's the sort of the main part of the problem, all based around that. And then the stolen concept fallacy that generates, but I mean that's a bit advanced. So we like to do the simplicity, bring it down to the base, and make it as easy as possible. So the easy as possible with this is to bring it down to the perpendicular, obviously. But how do you explain perpendicular? The easiest way to explain perpendicular is two reference frames that everybody knows: vertical and horizontal. Well, we've been saying for quite a while that level is horizontal, and that obviously causes a problem. That problem means that in the idea of what horizontal is, it has to disappear, because the idea of perpendicular causes a problem with it, only on a model. In reality, perpendicular is perpendicular because of vertical and horizontal. They are called the right lines to make a right angle for a reason. They make a cross, a perpendicular cross, always. Vertical and horizontal are always perpendicular. That works fine in reality, but if you have a model that reality doesn't comport with, then you're obviously left with a problem of the mind. And what has been exposed today is the vertical paradox, the vertical plane paradox. Because as Beddy showed us when he tried to debunk t-shirt logic, we got the bots working. Try all the codes, make sure they all work. I think they're in the agents chat, there is a list of them, and then to add on top of that, there should be one for individual, everyone for their own channels. DP, we need to get one for your Twitch. I think that's one of the ones that we're missing. For anybody that wants to watch on Twitch or anything. So I'm not expecting anybody to come in tonight, but we do have I call him the most model afflicted Glober I know, Stingray. I've got a conversation with him that we had about 40 odd minutes that we can go into and have a look at that. We can go over it, but I was hoping to go over the vertical plane paradox to go with the horizontal paradox and the perpendicular paradox. These three, calling them the paradox trifecta, will destroy the model, or you either lose the model, you accept the paradox, or you have to lose a vertical and a horizontal plane. In reality, the model will strike it away. There's no such thing, because that's what the model dictates. The model dictates there's no such thing as a horizontal plane, and obviously the vertical plane has to go too. You can't have a vertical plane and a horizontal plane in this model. The globe model particularly, that's the people that we have coming round and that have exposed it to us. I wanted to get Betty's argument to go over that as well at some point. Maybe he's listening. Maybe he might want to come in and show us his thing. Maybe there's somebody over there. Oh, they can't post pictures, can they? Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yep. Codes are working. Oh, that's got short though, hasn't it? The Imaginometry one.
I don't think anyone tried that one just yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you just tried the Imaginometry, but it's cut it short. I'm going to have to watch out for that. Right, that's one to fix. I'll put that on the list if I can remember it. I won't remember it, don't worry about that. Needs rewriting though. We've also come up with, we've got a bot on in the Discord. Seems to be going down well with the, I call them the Globe Trolls. Globe model enthusiasts. We have a thing that try and leave your model at the door. And there's a group of people that insist on telling us about their model. They love it. And we just say about we want to go on with reality. Like, please, can we just talk about reality? Oh, they insist on posting all sorts of silly stuff. But yeah, the one today is the vertical plane paradox, where any vertical plane that you can have, i.e. a whiteboard, let's say, cannot have parallel verticals. You cannot make a representation of a horizontal plane on that vertical plane because there's no such thing as a horizontal. Perpendicular can't be two straight lines. It sounds fantastic when you first hear it. How could that possibly be? Because obviously horizontals and verticals do exist as planes in reality. The horizontal paradox is that a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. Yet the model dictates the water level has to drop from a horizontal. So therefore, a water level cannot be a tool on the globe model for establishing a horizontal. So therefore, it's a paradox within the globe model. A water level is that being a tool for establishing a horizontal is a paradox within the globe model, just within the globe model. Conversely, a perpendicular is the relationship between a straight line and another straight line. Well, in reality, what you do is you establish a plane of reference, and then you say all perpendiculars to that plane will be parallel. Well, that brings back into the paradox of the horizontal plane. Once you establish a horizontal plane, all perpendiculars to it being parallel, if it's a horizontal plane, all the perpendiculars to it will be vertical, and they can't be parallel on the globe model. Therefore, perpendicular paradox. Now we've got the vertical plane paradox, because people have had it for a while. They show the plumb bob. Well, that's just one point, and then the horizontal turned into a point within that, within the string, in the middle, like a couple of molecules. That was how big a horizontal plane could be. Well, if you make a vertical plane and then have something perpendicular to that, then that would be a horizontal plane extending perpendicular to the vertical. It's not allowed on the globe model, because all the perpendiculars to the horizontal would be vertical and all the verticals would be parallel again, and you can't have that on the globe model. Paradox. Paradox, paradox, paradox. It's always been a pet peeve of mine when I first came into this. People telling me that I'm a flat earther because I think level is horizontal. Well, I only live in reality, and the only place you can go is in reality. And these paradoxes don't exist for me because I live in reality. There are no paradoxes. Vertical and horizontal being perpendicular is a fact of reality. You can't get away from that. Because you can't get away from it. You're going to have to live with it. Or you ditch the model. I think they're, me personally, I've never really had the model. So I don't have to have a battle about, whether the model and how these paradoxes work. And because obviously in reality, they're not paradoxes. They're just reality.
Only if you have a model, yep.
Yeah. Purely model-based paradoxes or I don't know. He's trying to find trying to find a way of wording it. Model specific paradoxes, because they are if you just live in reality, I guess you couldn't say. Well, can you say you have a model of reality? Or reality just is, right? That's the identity, isn't it?
Yeah, reality just is. It's not a model.
Yeah. Reality is reality. It doesn't. You can't make a representative, because then that would just be a representative. It wouldn't be P, right?
Well, that would make you God.
Yeah. Well, reality is P.
Yeah.
And if you make a model of P, then it's not P. It's just a model of P. So that's the idea, is like, in reality, vertical, horizontal, perpendicular. There's horizontal planes, there's vertical planes, and obviously, if you measure elevations on the vertical datum, then that's referenced by horizontals that are parallel. That's how you can tell the vertical datum, the height change, elevation change, reference to. What is it reference to? Level? Well, yeah, that's horizontal.
Yeah.
Looks so good in the chat, guy with a model of reality. A heliocentric model is what he's got.
Yeah, we were all given that model.
That's a
Some
model,
of us
isn't it?
woke up. Yeah.
That's a model of P. A model
And not
of
your
P
model.
is not P.
Yeah. Somebody gave you that model. Remember that. You didn't think of this. Somebody gave it to you and you accepted it.
Well, so no, somebody's given him a model and said, you can think of this like reality. Well, that's a magic trick.
Yeah, and he said, okay.
Yeah. That's just a model. It's just a model. Monty Python, I might have to get that as a clip. It's just a model. Reality is reality. That's it. You want to be trying to live in reality and think of reality as you do. If you're thinking of reality and then finding paradoxes because you've got a model, well, the paradox is there obviously to tell you you've made a mistake. At least that's the way I'd look at it. The paradox can't be the way forward. You have to accept a few paradoxes with the model, I'm guessing. I'm guessing a lot of people have got a really good idea of reality. Looks like we've got one in the chat.
They've been living with the paradoxes for a long time. Maybe they just haven't realized it. Open is closed. Moving is stationary. Straight lines curve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Water bends. Yeah.
New relativism.
I was told a little while back that a paradox is simply a natural phenomenon.
Really?
Yep.
In their La La Land, yeah.
Nicely done. Yeah, our plan is coming into fruition. We just need a few more of these people on board and we can make a paradoxical proof.
Make a paradox normal again.
Yeah, acceptable paradoxes. as we were like, when I very first came into this, me and Spot On, it came to me, my best bud all the way through this. We've grown together. At the beginning, we initially said that you can put a comparison, right? You've got some baskets of globe evidence and, like, you know, stuff that's up for question, and then stuff that you know that you've proved for yourself, right? And after a while, these things that you've looked into, they do not ever end up in the globe evidence basket. And after quite a while, you realise there's nothing in the globe evidence basket. But what you have developed is these paradoxes that must occur if you have that model. So what you end up putting in that is it's a bag of comedy assortments of reducto absurdum arguments and
contradictions,
paradoxes and contradictions that occur. That it's hard work to make fun of it, but it's funny once you're out of it. But if you're in it, then it can be mentally challenging. You know, I can imagine there's a lot of people who have problems with drink and drugs and all of that because of the mental anguish they're living in, of contradictions and things that just don't make sense. And these things that just don't make sense because they're paradoxes. And until somebody points it out to you and shows you, many of these paradoxes can exist without you knowing, without you even realizing. And I think that's what we're doing here just recently. Maybe it's because we're a different sort of place and we've had a chance to get out of the model. Calm the mind, as Spot On says. Not doing meditation or dancing in the dark or anything like that. But just sort of, you know, having chance to not be in that heated argument. Having chance to mull things over. That little bit of contemplative thought. And I don't know. These paradoxes are going to be, I mean, they're in a denial stage at the minute. The globe model enthusiasts, I'm going with. Some of them are pretty good. That's what we're here for. Hopefully we're here to help sort people's minds out and give people a bit of clarity about the simple stuff in life, because what we've learned is that this the simplicity in what we're talking about has obvious benefits for that clarity of mind and clarity of thinking and bringing the logic into it. As my son said the other day, logic is the language of thought, and being able to order that thought process is something I don't think is actually taught. I believe that's why they've took Euclidean geometry out of circulation, because it teaches that logical thought process to show you that there is a way to form proofs and you know, to get the best understanding. And hopefully, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing here. This Discord server, obviously, it is where all of the stuff happens. We're here most of the day, UK time, messing about, doing all sorts of stuff. But this is where, if you want to come in and have a chat with us, it's not always live and it's not always like this, but yeah, this live stuff that we're doing here is hopefully to let people know that we're not what other people say we are. You can come and judge for yourself and obviously find out what we have. But the confidence that we do have is definitely because of the logic, of the understanding and the proofs that we have. It's good to know that you can be certain in what you're saying and in a very simple statement, and know that that very simple statement is enough to destroy a model. Definitely. But because most of this stuff is it's so simple that it can't be expressed, because it's a personal one-to-one sort of thing that you know, in order to get the full understanding of it, it can't really be expressed like this. And we can do our best, and we that's what we're doing most of the time, or that's what I'm doing anyway, trying to think of ways to simplify stuff to hopefully get other people to understand the simplicity of these arguments that we have. A lot of people don't like the idea. I mean, you see how many globe model enthusiasts we get in on the model afflicted Mondays. I mean, they know they're model afflicted. They just can't really come and own up to it. We know the model. We know how the model works much better than they do, most of them. We've had all of the geometric arguments with the so-called best of the best of the best globe geometers. It's fictional. There's no such thing. That particular geometry that they think they have doesn't exist anywhere. Doesn't ever make it into the reality realm. So let me get this video queued up. I wanted to put this out earlier today. But I didn't get a chance. I was busy. So let me see. What do you think about horizontals? I think oh, you guys want it on Discord as well, don't you? Right, now this is I've titled the video. Can you guys see that? On Discord. How's that, guys?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, so Discord's good. And you guys are good. And right. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna make myself a brew as well. So I'll play this and then again Buster intro on it. So enjoy for a bit. I'll not mute the Discord if you want to chat or whatever. Over Stingray comment. What do you think about horizontals being parallel to the plane of the horizon?
What do you mean horizontals being parallel to that? I don't care.
Nice.
Why should I care about that?
Well, I'm just saying, like,
Oh, right, no.
it's just
What do I think?
t-shirt logic. Do you not care?
Great. I think great. Does that get me to the truth? No. So, who cares?
It's the echo in your brain. You know you can't sustain the misconceptions in your mind. One day you'll see for sure what all of this was for. Then you can leave it all behind. The journey begins. I am the one, yeah, that will show the proof. I am the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the logos.
So, yeah, X and Y is a horizontal definition.
In the beginning was found this thing that cannot speak. It's how we all truly learn. It's only ever attained when one lets go of fear. So don't let wisdom pass you by. The journey begins. I am the one, yeah, that will show the proof. I am the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the logos.
Yeah, you mean like a Y datum plane,
Yeah.
like we have in reality?
If you say so.
Well, we do, don't we?
If you
Elevations.
say so, man.
Well, we do, don't we?
In your reality, man.
We do. We have a vertical datum plane, don't we? Or vertical datum, let's call it.
If you say so.
Yes, I do.
It was there all along. How could I never have seen this thing that's danced all around? It wasn't until I left behind the things I believed that I could see things so clear. The journey begins. Become the one, yeah, that will show the proof. Become the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. Become the whispers of the logic in their minds. Become an agent of the logos. Become an agent of the logos. We are the agents of the logos.
On there called Colon, who's a gamer who I wanted to get server information off, but besides that, I don't watch Mr. Sensible.
Colon's a troll. I've seen him on. I've seen him on
never-
loads of other places. I mean, that's just what we call him.
No, I've never. Well, I've only ever seen him on Mr. Sensible's, and I've not spoken to him about Flat Earth at all, so I don't know.
Are you obsessed about
I'm
flat
about
Earth?
7 Days to Die server, and that's it.
Why so obsessed about flat Earth?
Me.
Yeah.
Because I hear people discussing things with words and non-spatial awareness. And I'm not on about anybody in particular or one side or the other. And I used to do for like 17 years of my fucking career 3D graphics and visual effects and shit like that for games and film and TV and stuff. I don't anymore, but I used to. And it's not that I miss it, but it's nice to find a purpose for it, and it's not necessarily flat Earth that interests me at all. It's actually demonstrating concepts and space using 3D and technology and stuff like that to do predictions or to do, it's less about, oh look, the Earth is a globe, because it's more about, hey, I can do ray tracing through 4 levels of refractive index to simulate the atmosphere. So, if there was another thing that wasn't flat Earth that also allowed that, I'd be just as interested in that, mate.
So you, when you modelled your computer games in 3D, did you ever model a realistic, a curvature that mapped? Did you ever model anything onto a ball? Did you start off with a very big ball?
No. You never do that.
Just a plane then?
Well, I tell a lie. On some, so I did I did a game ages ago, which was a stylistic game where one of the menu choices miniaturized worlds. So yes, in that case, I did model things onto a ball, but they were miniaturized worlds. If you're on about the racing games that I've done, wait a minute, what else have I done? Racing or third-person or adventure games that are set on, like, Earth, then no, you don't model Earth for 2 reasons. One, it's too big and utterly irrelevant given the context. And 2, if you're doing physics, as in a physics engine, so one of the most popular physics engines in games is Havoc. The computation for doing spherical Newton fields, so a point in space that everything goes towards, is so much more complicated than simulating a Y force, as in a single unit force in a single direction, when you're doing complex kind of collisions for ground or other objects or things like that. And if it doesn't make a difference to the game or the context or the player, you just don't do it. Okay.
Right. That's me here. I'm not on the thing now. Y-force. Y-force. What do you think that is? Rather than go into a single point, just a Y-force, like, verticals. By,
It's axiom 1 in Imaginometry, is it not?
Well, no, he's talking about mapping on computers, doing computer games. And right. And how you don't do that one single point thing and just use a Y, which is like a straight up and down the page, like a vertical. That's why you map things, on that, because it's easier. And it sort of relates to reality as well. Like, there's no need to do that. It doesn't relate to reality when just relating shit to reality works good anyway.
What goes up must come down, right?
Yeah, on the Y.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So were you here with this? Do you know who Stingray is? Like
He was here like a week and a half ago.
Yeah. Yeah, he's old schooler, I think. He's obviously a computer guy, so he can make models within the computer thing. You know, a bit like Walter Bislin type manipulating computer models. Interesting. He say that he's never done anything on a ball. So that would mean anything that they do within the modeling software or whatever is manipulated around the plane to manipulate it not around a ball, if you know what I mean. Sort of technical way of saying they don't make it into a ball. Anyway, I'll carry on for a bit.
You just lose so many compute cycles for zero gain.
Yeah, you mean like a wide datum plane?
Yeah.
Like we have in reality.
If you say so, Bev.
Well, we do, don't we?
If you
Elevations.
say so, Bev.
Well, we do, don't we?
In your reality, Bev, if
We do. We have a vertical datum plane, don't we? Or vertical datum, let's call it.
If you say so, Bev.
Yes, I do.
Well, it's funny how my spherical sun, Terminator, Shadow, Night Day, Star Trail.
I can't let that go. Did everybody hear that, right? He says he doesn't map it or model it around a spherical thing. And then he says it works just on the Y vector. And then I say, like a vertical datum plane. And he says, yes. And then I say, like we have in reality. And he says, if you say so, Biff.
I don't think he realized that both of those questions are the same question. So he answered yes first, and then if you say so.
Yeah. Realizing that, the model says that it's a vertical datum plane. All elevations are measured on a vertical datum plane. Now, a vertical datum plane works with a Y height, like he just said, for mapping on the computer. And that Y is Z. Sorry, go on.
That's why I think they're deceivers.
Yeah.
On purpose, because he's smart enough, like, you know what I'm saying? He's smart enough to figure out what's going on there. And instead of owning up and saying, I need to think about this more, he's like, yeah, it's, vertical datum plane. And he knows what that means, right? He has to. He's thought about it. He's been in this for years and years.
Yeah. He purposely swapped the topic onto something completely different, right? He knew what was happening. That's why I have to stop this, to point it out.
That's why I say they're deceivers.
Yeah.
Because they know the argument. They know how to get around it and when to obfuscate. That's what a deceiver does, instead of facing facts. I mean, this is too simple, right? Baseline, vertical, horizontal. Where do you go from there?
Horizontal plane parallel, right? That's what the vertical datum is. It measures the difference between those horizontals. It's called differential leveling. The difference between the horizontal planes.
That's right. And I think everything they do, right, every direction they go leads to a paradox. And they have to avoid those at all costs.
Yeah, within an argument. Right? That's why it's so frustrating to talk to people with our model afflicted, because the seriously model afflicted ones know the arguments and know how to avoid the arguments. And that's where half of the frustration comes in, because they know these sophistry tactics to lead you astray from the original argument, which is very, very, very simple. It can't be stressed how simple the argument is.
And logical.
Yeah.
SC did this with B-Ball last night. B-Ball, he asked him a series of questions. B-Ball, yes, yes, yes. And when it came to the question that really gets him, right, he turns around, doesn't say yes right off, or no, turns around and starts asking SE questions, right? Like it's just a tactic, and he knows he's busted. That's it. Instead of not deceiving, right, or not using tactics, he chooses to use tactics. It's so aggravating, but it's so easy to see now. And no one backs it up. Like no one, no matter what room you're in, they can do it to where even people that know who SE is and are on his side start going, SE, give him a break. Let him talk, let him answer, let him ask you a question. Well, no, it's a series of questions. It's a reason it's a series, right? I asked him very specifically to get to this point. I'm at this point, and you're saying I should let him off the hook. No. It's amazing. Good job.
Yeah, half of the tactics for the people that we talk to is avoidance of a very, very simple argument. And not just one side of it either. Has to be stated.
Or misdirect into something else.
Yeah. Yeah, avoidance of whatever it is, the discussion that you're taking. Whether it be, oh, that's such and such as an argument, and oh, you believe what he says, do you?
Yeah, you've been listening to Nathan. I'm so tired of that.
Yeah.
You pay Nathan money. He's a hypocrite. I'm like, I haven't even been to Nathan's in like a year.
You know what I tell him now? You've been listening to Einstein, huh? Been listening to Newton, have you?
You bought their books, huh? You read them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I was just going to check your sound. Are you low there, Rakia? Oh, I might have to.
No, Rakia's coming in good.
Yeah, fine on me, my part also.
That guy Yo thinks I'm yelling at him every time.
That's why I wanted to come in, bro. And as soon as I walked in the door, he goes, okay, I got to go now. I go, oh, damn.
Yeah, I got to go take a piss. And Jeremy's like, that's what you shouldn't have to take a piss. You've been taking a piss on us for the last hour. Yeah, there's something, right? He basically said, the sun rises here and here and here because I'm on a spinning ball in infinite space. That's tilted. He mentioned the tilt too, which no one does because that's a whole other ballgame.
Don't yell too much because they get triggered. You gotta talk softly.
I did. I was literally talking like this.
I'm kidding.
Even Gio said something. Well, if we wouldn't yell and scream at people, maybe they wouldn't be snowflakes. And I'm like, okay.
What?
Yeah, Gio said that last night. I said, I haven't heard anyone yell at Yo today. Like you're talking about like weeks ago, months ago, a year ago, Yo. What are you talking about? Because tonight no one's really yelled at you. It's been a civil conversation except for, you talking over people. And it's amazing, man. They do and say the same things. SE will literally give way like 4 or 5 times. Hey, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to overtalk you. Go ahead and continue. And as soon as he starts talking again, SE, you're talking over me. Like nuts. Another tag.
Are you guys sure Rakia is okay? It sounds crackly as.
Now I'm hearing some wind. Yeah, are you driving, Rakia?
Yeah, but my window's up. But I'll get off and get back on.
Yeah, there's a definite crackle in the air.
Yeah, there's a crackle, but the volume's fine.
Right. 40 odd minutes of this. So do you want to carry on for a bit?
All compound.
Come back and talk at any time.
Distance, rotation, and size of a heliocentric model predict my world and my reality exactly, and everything that I've tried on a flat Earth doesn't. But yeah, sure, we'll go with what you said.
Have you ever tried mapping elevations?
On.
Well, in reality or
Yeah, so
on a model.
Yeah, so there's there's actually a brilliant external add-on for Blender. Blender's free, by the way; anybody can download it, and it's called GIS. And what it allows you to do is, the UI is a bit clunky, but it allows you to specify an area on a map. I think it uses Bing Maps or fucking Open Maps or something like that. It allows you to specify an area on a map and import the topological data for that.
See, that sounds interesting.
So you could, so let's say I wanted Buckinghamshire, for instance, where
Whether you could do that for
I
LIGO.
could go and just draw a big rectangle around Buckinghamshire on the map inside of Blender in this GIS plugin and say, import the most detailed topological data you have for this. And it will bring it in.
And would it put it on that vertical datum?
So by default, yes, there is a little switch in there to say account for curvature of Earth.
What, on the vertical datum?
No, on the plugin when you're importing the topological data to do a view transform based on a curve of the Earth.
So you can take a developable plane into a non-developable plane through a computer program on Blender.
I can take topological data that is actually derived from elevation and then account for the curvature of the Earth with a switch or not.
Do you like that? Do you like that? I know. I hope Mobius is in here. If he is, then he's got Blender. You can just sort of wave your cursor over a map, import it into Blender, and then obviously you'll be able to check for your 4-foot slope.
Gotta hit the curvature switch. Don't forget.
Yeah, and then you can hit the curvature switch whenever you want. Boom. I like that.
Yeah, I'll have to mess around with that.
If you find that plugin, that'll be fun, won't it? Because you could definitely get LIGO and go and find that 4-foot slope.
Dirt saving. Rakia Earthworks saved them a few $1 million there.
So yeah, thank you very much, Stingray.
I wonder who could get that 28.5 meter wall of water.
Oh,
that would be
yeah.
nice to see in Blender.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be something, yeah.
Oh, yeah. See?
If you're listening,
look at
I
that.
asked them already. Yeah.
Everybody, I bet there's some computer wizards out there that doing that sort of thing. Come into Discord. Show us how you do it. Let's have a go, because my computer's not really set up for that. It's set up for streaming. But if anybody...
I asked Stingray that a couple of years ago to make me a model of the Rakia Bridge and the hump and the drop and all that. Still hasn't made... Well, he made something, but, put some boats. He put some extended poles in the air a mile long. Ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, I said it wouldn't be hard for him to have a go at the water level test. That's only a few 100 meters. You could extend it out. You could do slice barcanes. I think we might actually talk about slice barcane and his water levels in this in a minute. Should I'll carry on for a bit longer. Yeah, this is the... I quite enjoyed this conversation. These are the sort of conversations that we have in the server. Come along. Developable / to non-developable surfaces.
Exactly what I just said.
See that I did. It's me again. I've paused it. That developable, non-developable surfaces. He seems a bit deflated, like he did if he went a bit at the beginning. Whatever, Bev.
That's what I was saying. His voice inflection definitely changed when he got to that point.
Developable, non-developable, right? You can't do it. It doesn't work. There's a reason. A spherical is a non-developable surface, and a plane surface is developable. I mean, it's obvious the reasons once you get into the basic geometry, but you can hear it. It realizes the curvature switch is a bit ridiculous. You can't stretch land, right? There's
That's what I was
only.
going to say. Which part stretches?
Yeah, it's like the.
I mean, it's either got to stretch or it's shrunk when you take the data, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like it comes down to the law of identity again. When you make those measurements in reality, that you can't change them. They're the reality measurements. That's exactly what you're dealing with.
We should ask him how far a mountain stretches. Like when you measure the base of a mountain and plot it right in Blender, and then you hit the curvature switch, how far does the mountain stretch?
It depends. Depends on the egocentric
what radius you put, right?
coordinate system. Yeah. Well, no, it depends on where you start it at, because the scale on a non-developable surface when you develop it would get worse the further out from the center part. So it depends where you start the center as to how much it stretches on the way you go out, right? Unless you go into the relativistic surveying. We're not going into that just yet. Because it doesn't fucking exist. There's only local surveyors. They're the only surveyors that actually exist. There's no non-local surveyors. They whenever surveyors are surveying anywhere, they will have to go to the place that they are surveying. They can't do it any other way. They actually have to be there to survey it locally.
I tried to look up geodetic non-local surveying, and it doesn't pull up.
Yeah.
Like there's no one in my town that does that.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to the surveyors, even the geodetic, right? It's just a name. They're surveyors. They survey. They all do a very good job of surveying very locally measurements, taking local measurements.
It's interesting. The word means land measurement in my language.
Yeah.
Surveying, that is.
Yeah. That when I did my course, it's inland surveying, right? You are surveying the land. It's
talked about a lot here, point to point.
Yeah.
If I remember right, point to point measurement, point to point surveying, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
The measurements
straight
from
line.
point to point, straight line. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And the angles off of it, slope.
Yeah, I mean, even when you come down to the geometry, these Earth, measurement, Earth measurement, like land surveying, like there's no, it's not like, oh, there's a surprise. No, geometry is land surveying, because that's where it comes from. That's the link to reality. A definite link. Can't get away from it. Vertical, horizontal, land surveying, geometry. Boom. Job done.
I want to make some calls, right? Like I've always wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Hey, yes, sir. I have a piece of land that I need plotted. Do you have a department of surveying for that? Oh, yes, sir. You're going to talk to Mr. Tim. Oh, okay. What about, I need to get my elevation, my base flood elevation. Do you have a department? Oh, yeah, we have a department for that. You're going to talk to Johnny. Yes. Do you have a department for measuring curved water?
Yeah.
And just wait for the silence.
But where would you put the high spot? It's like, what do you mean, the high spot? Well, the top of the hump. Whereabouts is that on my land?
Would you go to the middle of the lake and work your way out, or would you start at? What department is that? Can you transfer?
Set up a slide there in the center.
I mean, seriously, it would be silence. whoever is the receptionist or whoever, even if you're talking to the surveyor, it would just be dead silent.
Yeah.
None of them have ever even thought about it.
Crazy, man.
But that's, again, that's half of the problem, right? Is not only they haven't thought about it, people who are listening haven't thought about it either. The Globers, they've not thought about it. I truly don't think there's many people that actually have thought about this like we have. Had it not been for a group of people that have pushed us, because we said something about water that we, maybe at the time believed was true but had no proof for, now have developed the proofs of that obvious reality that we already knew. But they pushed us into this now, and we found something that was always there. There's a lot of other people that haven't seen it yet. They're not even aware of such paradoxes that have to exist within a model because they're not even aware of the model. No, nobody's been taught it. Nobody's been, these supposed millions of people that know it's a globe. Well, they don't. I'm pretty sure most people, if they were made aware of the paradoxes that came along with the model, then they would be less likely to go along with the model. If they actually knew the paradoxes that had to come along with it. I mean, there can't be a lot of people that know that there's no such thing as a horizontal plane on the globe model. And that was over a year ago, probably near 2 years now, since Rumpus told us that. Horizontal at a point. At a point.
Only at a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was when the horizontal plane disappeared. And we didn't have the wherewithal and all of that to realise that that's a horizontal plane paradox.
Well, it started the disco ball and all the other stuff. Like if you have, this tiny, tiny, tiny straight line at a point, it's infinite points making a ball, a circle, or a sphere.
Well, that is actually what a sphere is.
There is, yeah.
Yeah. The impossibility of that shape is that it is just infinite points at the end of a line, a radius. It doesn't actually exist as an anything.
I sort of look at the circle as a tool to move the point around.
Yeah.
Sort of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a point mover.
What was that?
All it is. Go on.
What was that game? Or it was like an art thing, and you had all these shapes. You would put your pencil in a hole and spin it around and make. You know what I'm saying? You remember that?
Yeah,
Did y'all have that? I just thought about it.
Yeah,
Forget
you could
what it
have
was
several
called.
pencils, and you could do like
Spirograph.
Spirograph? Yeah, that seems right. I hate
The
when
little
he's right.
cogs and,
Was a set of gears. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could connect them together, and there were different size circles or whatever, odd shapes, and you would just turn them around a point with a pencil in the hole, and it would make all these designs. Geometric designs.
They still sell them, believe it or not.
Spirograph?
Yeah, I saw one the other day, just out of sheer luck. I was walking by and I go, hey, look at that. They still sell these things. Just a couple of weeks ago, bro. I kid you not.
All right, we'll carry on for a bit. We're only 10 minutes into this. Yeah, that sounds cool.
Well,
Things they can do with computers nowadays, eh?
I didn't write the plugin.
No.
So, yeah, it's not bad.
No. But I mean, like when we were saying about in reality, you went to a Blender program. Because I was thinking like when the surveyors actually measure those elevation changes, they're working on the vertical datum.
Yeah, when I compare it against reality, I mean walking outside and actually doing observations against the predictions that it says should be true if this were true.
Yeah, surveyors that are measuring the elevations don't go to predictions or anything.
No, they actually measure. I don't measure. I look at predictions based on the input variance to come up with a probability of whether it is true or not. Measuring it doesn't interest me, and I don't have the equipment to measure it anyway. So
okay. Well, in order to do that measurement, you have to establish the horizontal. Would you call that measuring the horizontal?
I'm only interested in the. I don't work in my world, in my reality, with measurements. I deal with probability. The probability based on the model and the predictions is that we live on a planet exactly as they say, because it's been 100% correct in its predictions. When I say 100%, let's say 99.9, because it can be half a degree off, but mostly because...
Right. One of the distraction tactics they go through, I asked him, simple question, when you establish a horizontal, do you call that measuring a horizontal? Or, because horizontal is an orientation. It's the plane of reference that you're using. Like you don't actually measure a horizontal. You establish it, and then you use that horizontal to, keep a datum and transfer a datum backside to foresight. Right? You can understand what the land's doing in reference to that horizontal that you've established. You don't measure the horizontal. You use the horizontal as a base to measure from. So this is half of the thing that we're going through at the minute with the horizontal paradox and all of this sort of stuff. Well, a horizontal gets established. You use that. And I just asked him, obviously, he can't answer it. Because on one model, you use the horizontal. Now, if you use the horizontal to make measurements from, they have level that they say deviates from horizontal. There's a paradox in the middle of that. You can't have one thing to do one and then measure something else from it if they're both the reference frame that you're using as a zero change in elevation. Only if they both do the same job, then chances are they're both exactly the same thing, which would make level the same thing as the horizontal. Something that you establish and then use to measure a distance or a change from. And again, he's avoiding.
Sometimes I get the position of where I put the observer might be fucking off by about 20 miles.
Is there not like paradoxes gained though from doing that you have to accept for the model?
Such as?
Such as a drop being a hump, two drops becoming a hump, and then like a.
Well, you see, the thing is, I don't need a definition like a hump. Mm-hmm. I just have vertex points or parametric points along a non-rational B-spline. So I don't need any of those silly definitions. I'm just.
Did you hear what he doesn't? He doesn't need a term like hump. Do you want to hear that again? What, like, can you remember what he called it? Because
Vertical something or other.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
Now,
God.
let's try and keep hold of this, because he doesn't need terms like hump. He's going to use terms like this. And then like a...
Well, you see, the thing is,
Three-quarter.
I don't need a definition like a hump. I just have vertex points or parametric points along a non-rational B-spline. So I don't need
parametric points along a non-rational B-spline. Whatever the fuck that is.
What the hell is that?
He doesn't need a hump, because he's got those fucking things, or whatever the fuck they are.
Many
La La
words.
Land.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, yes, this is a paradox, he uses a whole bunch of words to explain away his paradox.
Yeah.
I'll just rename the hump. Come on.
It's not his paradox. It's like he's him saying that. He's giving that to everybody else. This is Stingray. The great Stingray. Now, he doesn't have to explain that to us. Because I don't have a paradox. The double hump drop, skateboard paradox, the infinite drop, the hump twin boat paradox, like whatever you want to call it, isn't a paradox if you have a horizontal surface of water, like most people do.
If you live in reality.
Yeah. If you accept reality as having just a horizontal plane and just like, hey, fuck it, just deal with it. Nobody cares. Then it's not a paradox, but impressive sophistry. Like that he's just making up words. Like literally. I mean, it might confuse many people. I hope not myself. I mean, I hope less and less people are confused by this, because the simplicity of what is there at the beginning, or what is the truth of the matter, is obvious. I really hope people don't get fooled by this, and I hope more people are realizing.
Any of those silly definitions. I'm just dealing with definitions. Geometry. That's it.
Yeah, we can deal with geometry as well, vertical and horizontal, like X and Y.
Sphere and go, that's many humps put together through slices. I don't. I say that's a sphere.
Yeah, well, when we're talking about a datum plane to adjust this. Yeah, he likes to think he's doing the geometry. I mean, I don't know whether this whatever narrative that's getting pushed around, that we, because we deal in the simplicity of the geometry and at the core of it, whether they think we don't understand it and they think they can just make up a load of these words. But I mean, like multi-hump. It's like we were looking the other day at spherical geometry. Seems to talk about polygonal.
A polygonal hump.
A sphere.
Oh, a sphere.
Yeah, polygonal sphere.
Yeah, disco ball. Yeah.
Straight lines. Yeah. So, I mean, like, there's contradictions within what they're talking about. Because when you understand the simplicity of the geometry and what it's actually saying to you, like Saragaki said a bit earlier, and Rakia, right? A lot of people are starting to come to this realization that a sphere is just the end points of a radius line. That's literally what the shape is. It's a point mover around a central place. It's a way of finding symmetry, I'd say.
Yeah, mainly. To establish equals, right? So you can move that equal around. and still reference back to where you start.
It's the basis of the proposition 1, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
It's the first thing that you get taught. Equals equals equals. It's a very simple thing, and that's what you use the circle for. It's eye-opening, really. But I mean, like, yeah, he's probably about to try to do some. He thinks wizardry. I think that they think that they're wizards because they underestimate normal people. Establish. Like, you don't say, "Oh, I'll just go and measure X."
No, I don't say I'll go and measure X.
And Y, and then no. So
don't
you
say
measure
that.
from those, don't you?
No, I don't. I just told you I don't measure.
In your computer, I'm just trying to imagine, like, compare the computer world that you're in to reality.
All right. So what I do is I Google the current scientific data for the size of the Earth.
No, we're talking about just establishing a plane to start off with. Like, we start at the very basics.
I'm not bothered about establishing a plane.
Well, you switch your computer on, right? And then a plane is already established for you to build upon, right?
Well, a 3D coordinate system.
Yeah. Well, so that initial, like, do you have an X, Y, and a Z, or do you have it a different way on the computer?
Oh, I don't have a Z. We have a Z.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Do you have XZ as your plane? And see, I don't know who it was. I think it was Ricky who was saying the other day, I don't have a Z and a Z. Well, that was me. I flipped it round then. Who cares? It's just a letter. But this is quite an interesting chat that we get into now about the X, Y, and Z coordinate system and how that works. But remember, X, Y, Z are all perpendicular to each other. They're the axis for the perpendicular, like we had at the beginning, was one of our original shapes. It's the inverted axis of the X and Y. We made that up. That was a genius move, that, a perpendicular.
It's just carried on as Z because Z is too easily misidentified. Like, you may think they're saying E, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you put Z or Z, it makes no difference. Different groups use it different. Like use one or the other, but it means the same.
I think it's the nursery rhyme thing from America, isn't it? It doesn't work.
Yeah, but he knows that.
Z at the end. Yeah. Then you build the Y up on it, or do you have an XY?
Well, it depends what I'm using. In Blender, Z is up. In Maya, Y is up.
Yeah, I think we were talking that, like, your first Maya one, would that have come first before Blender? Because I was saying to the guys that the X and the Y comes from a traditional mathematics sort of view.
Yeah, CAD stuff.
Yeah. And then, later on, they added the Z. Well, in reality, I say, like, those of us that are in reality, they work on the vertical, which we call Z.
Yeah, now, the weird thing is, I never used to, because I came from Maya. 3ds Max and AutoCAD and Blender all have Z as up. But I always, in games as well, Z, because we have what you call a Z buffer, which is a determinate figure for how many levels of draw order you can have away from the camera. So Z being away from the camera. So Z in kind of the entertainment gaming world was always laterally, never vertically, because of that. Whereas
sort of like depth of field as you're looking at it.
Yeah. So if you start out as a AutoCAD technician, you're doing a plan. Your Z is actually your fucking height. So yes, it depends.
I'm getting a clearer picture now, right? Yeah. So you're looking at the Z when you're
not in Blender or anything. I converted all of my shit over to, well, I still have a license for Maya, but I don't use 3D graphics anymore, to be honest. But I converted them all over to be Blender so that other people could use them if they wanted. And then you'd have to spend money buying Maya. So.
Right, I don't know whether I get to explain this or not, but I was trying to get out of him is the fact that in one program you've got an X and a Y. Now, what they would do is they would keep that X and Y that you remember from school in the graphs, with Y being up and down and X being across the page. One would be vertical and one would be horizontal. Old school graphs on a vertical. Then what they did is they developed in the old school computer gaming industry, they developed Z away from that, as in depth of field within the draw range of the screen that you're looking at, keeping X and Y on the screen as it is, and Z being the distance away from that screen, the draw distance. Whereas Blender, what they do is like they do in reality, right? What you do is that old X and Y graph that you would have seen, you lay that down flat on the floor. So Y becomes a distance away from you, and X becomes like they say one becomes north and south, the other one becomes east and west. They're perpendicular to each other then, and you lift up from that Z-axis your elevations of the land above that plane. They're the two differences, where they keep the axis, but all of the time it's just a letter movement. All of these axes are all exactly the same. You have a horizontal plane and then you have a vertical that comes from it. You can have a vertical plane on the horizontal plane, you know, in whatever direction you want. But that's what I'm trying to get across is, even when he maps it on his computers, they work off that plane setting, the horizontal plane. Hopefully we get. So would that be right then? X and Y being distance across the bottom, and the Z being the field that you're actually looking at, like the portrayed image.
In Blender, not now. Well,
he swaps it from Blender to the Maya.
Yeah. So yeah, X and Y is the horizontal definition.
Cool. So that's the You don't want to talk about how we 3D reality.
We don't 3D reality. Reality is there whether you do anything to it or not. All I care about is, well, in a discovery and pragmatic sense, all I care about is if I input the established scientific data only, not predictions or anything to do with the history of predictions, and then only do what they say, as in rotate a sphere. Do things match reality, and if so, how many?
Is geometry scienceable?
You'd have to define scienceable.
Well, you said scientific data. I mean, like, you're talking about like geometry, aren't you? Numbers and distances.
When I say scientific data, I mean, so in order to build my Sun Terminator line, blah blah blah, everything predictor, and I'm putting the moon in there as well, by the way. I just haven't finished it yet. In order to build that, the first thing I do is I want survey data. So static, established scientific data. And when I say scientific, I mean some scientific body has said this is as it is. So all I care about at that stage is, well, okay, so what's the radius of the Earth? I don't care how they established it, so long as it's accepted scientific survey data.
Measurements aren't scientific. That's what I'm saying. You can't science a measurement, can you?
I'm just telling you my process. And then the distance, so the distance to the sun, and then the size of the sun, and importantly, because nothing works without it, believe it or not, the 23.5 degrees tilt.
Again, geometry. That's all geometry. There's not
science.
So
that 3.5 degrees tilt. So once I've got that survey data, I build a model. Doesn't matter whether I do it physically or inside a computer. If I did it physically, I'd need fucking 60-mile stretch of shit and some really big balls. But so I do it on computer, and then I turn the sphere and see if the predictions work.
So this scientific data that you're getting, are you going to Google for it?
It's just basically model-based predictions that I can measure against reality that give me a probability of whether something is most likely true.
They can't be model-based predictions.
It is a model, yeah.
Model-based predictions, you said. You go to Google to go and get your model-based predictions.
No, I build the model and then I wiggle variables to give me predictions.
So you get some geometric. Yeah, I'll have to gonna say there. I think he said he got his stuff from predictions, didn't he? Like I want to go back.
60-mile stretch of shit and some really big balls, but so I do it on computer and then I turn the sphere and see if the predictions work.
So this scientific data that you're getting, are you going to Google for it?
It's just basically model-based predictions that I can measure against reality that give me a probability of whether something.
Model-based predictions. I'm asking him where he's getting his data from to build his model, and he's saying he's got model-based predictions to get his data to make his model to base his predictions on.
Is most likely true.
They can't be model-based predictions.
It is a model, yeah.
Model-based predictions, you said. You go to Google to go and get your model-based predictions.
No, I build the model and then I wiggle variables to give me predictions.
So you get some geometric distances.
Yeah.
And angles.
Well, I won't call them geometric. I just call them distance and angles. Yeah, distance, angle, and size.
Right now, are they scienceable? Can you do science with that?
I don't understand the question. I don't know what the fuck you're on about.
Do you know what science is? The difference between science and geometry.
Well, yeah, science. I actually don't care about science. I give a shit about probability.
Okay. Well, we just do the geometry and the logic. Doesn't care about science. Just cares about probability now. That's nice, isn't it? And the reality.
Well, I care about the probability of what I live on and how it interacts. And so far, the predictions are it's 100% as they say.
But you've took a load of numbers. He just cares about predictions. I think I ask him in a bit if he knows Dawn. I think witches do the scrying, don't they? Crystal balls and all of that sort of stuff. Making predictions. That's all I can think of every time he says it. That's geometry, right? You're making shapes with numbers and getting distances, proportions,
survey data, yes.
Lines. Yeah, they're just points, aren't they? The data is a series of datum, right? Datum is just a point. A physical location point in space.
A distance is not a physical location in space.
Well, a datum is that. So a series of datums.
Datums.
Because together
the
as a group.
And the distance.
Yeah, as a group, all of these datums go together and they call it data. Right, but they're just points in physical space.
None of those which I mentioned are points in physical space, no.
None of the data that you gain.
None of the data that I got are points in physical space, no.
Okay.
Distance is not a point in physical space. Size is not a point in physical space. And the angle of something is not a point in physical space. No. None of that. Okay. Zero.
Right, so he makes models that predict things, but none of the actual data that he's got for his model has actually come from anything in physical space. Nothing real at all. So he's going to make a model based on nothing real. That should tell you quite a lot about a model, or the quality of, you know, the data that he's got for basing his model on. So you got none of your data from anything physical, like anything from reality.
I got it from current scientific understanding to test whether that was true. That was it. Nothing more.
Again, you just said scientific understanding. Is there some special way for scientists to understand this geometry?
Okay, how about I change the sentence to this? I built the model based on the speculative information of the expert community that I can just search that everybody's got knowledge to see whether it was true based on being able to get predictions out of it to measure against my reality. Let's take science out of it. I don't give a shit.
Well, yeah, but we're in that like real bit, like the actual measurement gaining part, like where those actual data comes from, the datums, the individual datums.
In a model, Bev, I can actually test the variance of the input data. So if someone says the Earth is 6.3 million meters, the radius, I can say, great, but not only am I going to test that, I'm going to test it at 3 million and 9 million as well, and 20 million to see what difference that makes on the predictions, so that I can get a band of what is most probabilistically true. And that's all I've done. I don't care about the word science. I just care about, is this probably true?
Doesn't care about science. Just cares about whether it's probabilistically true. Based on his predictions, that's based on a model that came nothing from reality. Sounds like fantasy to me, but I don't know. It is Stingray. He's one of the high up. People look up to him. People with a model do anyway. I mean, look at him. He makes all sorts of models based on nothing real. Well, we like to deal in exactness, and that's why we like the actual datums. But what I was trying to say was, in order for you, knowing you've done your computer programming and mapping and all that, in order for you to define a curve, you have to start off with a straight thing first. So
I don't define the curve.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. In order to build your model, you have to have a curve that deviates from a plane.
To be honest, in primitive geometric mathematics, all I need is a location and a radius.
Yeah, but in reality, we use a horizontal plane to measure a deviance through the vertical on the, like you were saying, on that Y.
Yeah, I don't do that. I just create a radius and a primitive sphere.
Yeah, which is why I asked you at the beginning, do you not see the paradox between the drop and the hump?
No, correct.
But I know you said you don't like it. Yeah.
Well, no, a hump, like I say, a hump. I don't look at a fucking snooker ball and say 20 slices through this is 20 humps. I don't. I don't get that.
No, only
It's
only the
simple.
top one would have a hump, wouldn't it?
No, if you put more slices in it, there'd be, well, I suppose there'd be pizza shapes, but you'd certainly get more humps out of it, depending on how you sliced it, if that's what you wanted.
There'd be all parallels if you carried on through it like that. Slicing them all on.
No. If
On the
your
wire.
intersection was only a slice of what was left.
Yeah, changing your angle. Yeah, obviously, if you have a fixed point to. Yeah, the slices would be all different.
But like I
shapes,
say,
like
I still
wedges.
might find something wrong with the current data that's out there. We don't know. The fact that it's been 100% correct so far in all the tests that I've given it doesn't mean that there isn't just one where I think, hang on, this can't be the case.
Got a good model. Well, like I say, how do you account for the fact that in reality we measure a vertical change from a horizontal plane established by a level to your surface that you just draw a big ball?
I don't account for that. I walk outside and see if the elevation from the horizon based on the tangent to the horizon and the temporal data of the sun passing through my sky matches within the envelope profile that I'll give it, which is 1/2 degree. And it always does a lot less than 1/2 degree, and that's all I do. I say, oh my god, this matches. And then I ask someone else and they say, fucking hell, it matches. That's it.
What do you think about horizontals being parallel to the plane of the horizon?
What do you mean, horizontals being parallel to that? I don't care.
Nice.
Why should I care about that?
Well, I'm just saying, like, shout out T-shirt logic. All horizontals parallel to the plane of the horizon. Stingray. Don't care about it. Don't care. I don't really care about that. Whatever. It's a stumper for him. I'm telling you, you can't get away from it. All horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon, making all horizontals parallel to each other. Get yourself a T-shirt. Start a conversation.
Oh, right, no.
It's just
What do I think?
T-shirt logic. Do you not care?
Great. I think great.
So
Does that
he
get me
thinks
to the
great.
truth? No. So who cares?
Right. We've got some other stuff as well. We're doing. Like
I shall look forward to your. Is this so? Is the?
I'm calling them the laws of understanding, but some people call them the laws of communication, the laws of thought.
So this is what you're going to do on Sensibles. Oh, what are we on Wednesday? Friday.
Oh no, we're doing a bit of a special.
Wait a minute, Bev. Are you going on there for an actual debate?
Well, it's not a debate. I've managed to work it. I've been trying to get him to talk about logic for ages, and it's been really hard. So I'm going over there.
Wait a minute. You're just pushing your T-shirt store, right?
No. This is the Black Swan. I've been trying to get somebody to go over the Black Swan with us for ages, and you obviously know whenever you try and talk to QE about it, it blows his top because you know there are many flaws. So that's what we're going to go over on Friday with Mr. Sensible. Is the many flaws of QE's BS.
Oh yeah. Now, so let me ask you this, and this is a logic question. This isn't a leading one either. Do you believe that because of that Black Swan image, the Earth is flat?
No, that's one of the major problems with the Black Swan argument. QE, fuck that up big time. I think maybe QE's on your side. Very clever.
Wait a minute, I actually think that about chemo as well.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're keeping this cycle going, right? They need it. They need you guys as much as you guys need them.
Yeah.
And QE helped you out big time with the Black Swan. I'm going to let you know.
Have you ever spoke to QE about it then?
You try to. But you know. You can't.
Yeah, because, I mean, forget the argument of the shape of the fucking Earth. The logic statement that I found a black swan out of all the white swans, therefore every swan is black, is fucking ludicrous to me.
It makes all swans white. I didn't really get that when he said that. I don't understand why all swans would be black. I don't really. That's one of the misunderstandings of the logic on the Globus side. I'm guessing that nobody's really delved into what the logic is, as happened when we went to go and try and talk to Mr. Sensible. White again. Carry on. Yeah, not black. It makes them all white.
Well, no. The Black Swan, in saying this proves the point, is based on the postulation that all swans are, the swan is always white. Yeah. Now,
all swans are white is the statement.
All swans are white. The Black Swan proves that statement is false.
Yes.
But it's been taken by QE as, I found a black swan, therefore all swans are black.
Yeah. So he does it again. I don't get it. I don't think that's what QE said anyway. I mean, I don't think that's what the idea of it was. But has to be stated. Because I don't know whether this gets mentioned. It's only a black swan if you subscribe to the model, right? If the Earth is a spherical blah blah blah, well, if it's not, then that picture of whatever you see can't be a black swan. Like, it's why when we've got many pictures and many things that could be considered black swans, but to us they're not. They're just pictures. They're only black swans for that particular argument. In reality, they're just pictures. Yeah, it's like everybody has got the wrong impression of what the logic is, because QE put a picture there. But QE put a picture there, obviously, to help you guys out. You know, absolutely. It's a logical statement. It doesn't need the picture.
Do you think Nathan is the same then, since they are one of the same kind of
Possibly, yeah. I mean, Nathan's very clever, but I'm not too keen about the flat Earth math thing. Did you see that?
No.
Wow.
Oh, wait a minute. I saw a clip of it, but I don't watch stuff.
Well, it was like everybody's been saying for, I don't know how long. Like, Nathan's been in his bit for, like, say 5 years, and he's never really come out. He's been over to Ranties to do that thing with George and other sorts of stuff, but never really anything. And everyone's go, oh, Nathan's been in there. Every flat earther worth anything goes over there and gives him their best information, and he develops his fucking 10 questions, 11 or whatever, his housekeeping questions. So he's the guy that's compiled everything, right? He's got all of the knowledge. He's had all of the people there. He's talked to all of them. He knows the arguments inside and out. And wow, he's doing a debate with flat earth math. They're like, brilliant. This should be good, right? Math is, everybody knows math's quite pleasant, and he's not going to turn into anything bad, because, math might be severely model afflicted, but he's okay. And Nathan goes over there and just keeps saying, give me R, give me R, give me R. And he knows, right, that it's impossible to begin, math can't give it him. So he's just asking math for the impossible. That's it. Doesn't go anywhere else. I mean, ridiculous.
No, it's not a good way to win a debate or even to look good.
Yeah, if he's after building a following, what's that about?
It's actually boring. But here's a question then: how come he still has so many fucking followers if that's the extent of what he can do for you guys?
What do you mean for you guys? He's not nothing to do with us.
Flat Earth, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like, that's what I say. If he's working with you, then they're all in an industry. They all need each other to survive, right? I mean, if there was no Nathan Oakley and the Flat Earthers, right, what would you be doing? What would Jose be doing? What would all of those bitter men that gather together?
What would I be doing? I'd be working like I am right this second while just having a chat. I wouldn't. I don't not work just because I think, oh, I know, I'll go on to not a debate show, but I'll go on and show some predictions or some models or some explanations. I carry on working.
Yeah. Would you be working making those models though? You know, like what would be the point in predicting?
Oh no, like I said to you at the beginning, replace the fucking flat Earth argument with I don't know, fluid dynamics. So Navier-Stokes based fluid dynamics, or Navier-Stokes, however you pronounce it. I'm common. I don't
Hydrostatics. I like that.
So if there was some discussion on that where people were using words to describe incredibly hard kind of concepts that I can show, pardon the pun, fluidly with interactions of like viscosity, temperature, cohesion, pressure, and things like that via 3D simulations and stuff, I'd probably be doing that. The flat Earth bit and the fluid bit is irrelevant. I don't do 3D anymore, and I used to for 18 fucking years. It's just an outlet of it's like a hobby that I used to like. Well, it's a hobby that I used to do as a career that I used to like, and it's just a way to just do that again. So, like I say, it doesn't matter whether it's flat Earth or something else.
Cool. We've got some good models.
Okay.
Yeah. Involves vertical datums and
Can it predict anything?
water levels.
Can it predict anything?
They're pretty accurate as ones as well. I mean, you go down to the 100. Has Slice Barcane ever asked you to model his water level?
No. What level?
This is interesting, this bit. So the water level test. This is Slice Barcane's water level test. Try and get him to point out, but quite interesting about what a lot of the people do is he's bending water level test.
He's bending water level test now.
Because I was like, we've got.
Oh, he does 3D. Wait a minute, he does
water.
3D stuff himself, doesn't he? He uses Mac, so he wouldn't ask me to do anything. He'd just do it himself.
Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah, but you do pretty nice models, don't you?
Cheers, Bev.
Well, I mean, that's you. Obviously, you've dealt in it. I mean, Slice Barcane, is he a? Oh, he is. He's a graphics. He's like an artist, isn't he?
I think so. I don't know to be 100% sure, but I think so.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Model off. So shall I challenge him to a model off?
Yeah. I wonder whether he knows Walter Bislin.
Now that's a smart fucking cookie. Although he's got something wrong on his site, which I noticed and I pointed out to him and he agreed. I like it. So I felt really good on that day.
Is that because he's put all of that big hump in Jesse Kozlowski's bridge?
No.
The one that Jesse Kozlowski
it's
drove
actually
over.
It's actually to do with his flat Earth, globe Earth comparison. So I forget now. This was a year ago. But on part of his site, you can put in a prediction, and on one side it'll show you the flat Earth prediction. On the other side, it'll show you the globe Earth prediction. And I noticed on some of the values when you, I think, wait a minute, what was it? When I can't remember now, but when I put in some value, I thought, no, that's not right. That there's no way it should look like this. And then he actually came in about a month later into Jose's Discord thing and was having a chat, and I had to ask him about it, and he admitted that yes, it's wrong because he couldn't do the view transformation at the time, and has just never corrected it. So I felt really good because there's a fuck ton smarter than me.
Did you see that thing that Blue did the other day? Because we were going over the model that Walter made for Jesse and Soundly. Because they said 3 coplanar points, which was one end of the bridge, the other end of the bridge, and the point in the middle, right, on the level span, as he says. Now, they said that's a vertical plane. Can you believe that? And then they said that the one in the middle was 28.5 meters higher than the other two.
Relative,
you know, the base.
Relative to a point line vector from origin to source. I don't know. I'd have to work it out what it would be.
Well, 3 coplanar points, and they say they have the bottom one as the baseline, and then the other one, obviously, in the center, isosceles triangle, at 28.5 meters up on a vertical plane. I mean, can you imagine them thinking that?
This is Lake Pontchartrain.
Yeah, that's what Blue was saying, yeah?
I'd have to have a look at the video to see it in context, but I don't watch debunker or flat earth videos that much, to be honest. The last thing that I'm doing for, well, I say the last thing, there's about 4 or 5 things I want to finish off before.
Well, this is... Did you notice the vertical plane part of that there? The hump of Jesse Kozlowski, the Walter Bislin model. It's a 28-meter hump on a vertical plane. There's a bit of a paradox in there, but...
Shout out the hump.
Shout out the new vertical plane paradox. This isn't debunker or flat earth. This is Jesse Kozlowski and his measurements and Walter Bislin. But yeah. I don't... Blue seems to think that it's a vertical plane. Like when Jesse Kozlowski said 3 coplanar points, he thinks that's on the vertical plane.
So obviously coplanar points is a relationship to each other.
Yeah, it's a triangle.
So you can treat them as a relationship to each other. That
Yeah.
does not give them a relationship to anything else. So
it does.
Say,
when you put them on a map and put them on a vertical plane.
Wait a minute. Yeah. On a map. Now you're relating it to the map.
Yeah, vertical plane. That's why there's a hump.
I'm going to choose, for me to say, I'm going to choose 3 random points in space. I can actually say that based on that triangle, they are all coplanar to each other.
Yeah, and vertical. They'd either be horizontal plane or a vertical plane. He wouldn't bother telling you it was on a willy-nilly plane. This is a surveyor.
I don't need to say horizontal or vertical. I can just say that 3 randomly chosen points create a triangle.
Yeah, but we're using Jesse Kozlowski's data here.
Nearly done.
Surveying.
All of those 3 points are coplanar to each other and the triangle. That does not mean that the triangle conforms to anything else. So I don't know the context of what they're saying or whether I agree with it.
Okay.
Is my point. But anyway, let me tell you the last thing I'm going to do for Flat Earth. Jose has just sent me some footage for Flat Earth demonstration video shit.
Wow.
Jose just sent me some footage. He continuously filmed a vessel. I'm going to get the survey data, where he was, his elevation, and the vessel, along with a few other vessels, actually, and some landmarks. And this is what I mean by model and predictions. So I get the survey data, and then I make a model based on the survey data of a globe, and then flat, which is really fucking easy. The flat bit. The globe, less so. And then I'm going to put predictions at either side of the actual footage to see what the footage matches. And that's how I do kind of the probabilistic things. Now, will it match a geometry prediction of a globe? I fucking highly doubt it. Will it be closer to that than flat? Absolutely. I can see that it is, but how close will it be? I don't know. And could I, based on the distance, work out the refractive index of the atmosphere?
So you love these modelling shit, don't you?
Oh no, yeah, no.
I think you might be my new favourite model addicted person, because you're like fully into the models, you're more than anyone else.
Wait a minute, because I did it for a career for 18 fucking years.
No, like you like building them as well. Models of models.
I want to build a boat that I haven't built yet. So yeah, of course I do. I love 3D.
Yeah,
it's what bought me a house and cars and shit like that. So
Stingray was a model, wasn't it? That was good. Yeah, I get it. Get it.
I miss it. And now I don't do that. I only do software development. So it's a little bit less creative. It's a little bit less visual. Although I do augmented reality, virtual reality, machine learning, vision neural networks, shit like that. It's still nothing compared to just creating some 3D shit. It really isn't. So, but anyway, good chat, and I shall try and catch you on Mr. Sensible's on Friday. And good luck flogging your t-shirt.
Should be good.
I'm going to make a prediction, Bev.
Go on. I know you're good at that as well.
Have
you ever heard Dawn? You know, Dawn's a witch.
No. So, my prediction is Mr. Sensible won't be vehemently opposed to logic, but you might be able to confuse him quite easily. No, I'm being serious. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
Because I went on there and the last time I was on there, I've only been on there like twice or three times, and someone came on and said, oh, well, this, and this, and then that guy left, and I said to Mr. Sensible, I said, well, the issue with what he just said would be parallel lines would have to converge, then diverge after the point of converging. And Mr. Sensible couldn't visualize it, so I don't think he's got a visual creative mind, and it wasn't a hard concept. So I think if logic involves visualization, I think you'll confuse him quite easily, but that's my prediction.
Yeah, I don't think it does. We were saying the other day that people come into these conversations with so much baggage that they're quite often unaware of the actual conversation that's going on because they've got so much baggage that they get confused. And that's what I'm predicting. Like, me finding it very hard to talk to Mr. Sensible about the basics of stuff to try and, get to the audience rather than, I'm not like, that's what I think Mr. Sensible's not going to get. He's not going to quite understand that I'm trying to talk to everybody and not just him.
It'd be cool if you brought some visuals though, because these concepts are incredibly difficult for anybody. I'm not on about flat Earth or globe. Are hard for people to grasp and to visualize from words, and sometimes you can get misunderstandings and stuff. So I would always say, add visuals if you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got some.
Talking of misunderstandings, just before you go, Stingray.
Yeah,
you were saying about the 3 coplanar points on the bridge. You put them as 3 random points in space.
Yeah, so
they're not. They're 3 points on a bridge. They're not in random space at all.
No, that was to illustrate that when I describe 3 points as having a relationship with being coplanar, where they are is irrelevant because I can place them in random places and say that they are coplanar.
These 3 points weren't in random places.
Yes, but without
they were on a horizontal plane across the span of a bridge.
The horizontal bit, I haven't seen. I'd have to watch the video. If someone said the bridge has...
Well, he said...
Wait a minute, listen.
No, hang on. No, you hang on, Stingray. He said they were at the beginning, middle, and end points of a bridge. That puts it horizontal.
Well, that makes it a line if it's a flat Earth. That doesn't make it...
Nobody here has claimed flat Earth or globe Earth, so you again...
Yeah. So if...
You again building a straw man around my question.
No. I'm not saying that's your position. I'm saying if world flat, then that line. If world not flat, triangle, perpendicular.
All I'm saying is that you put those 3 points in random space, and that's not where they were at all.
No, I didn't say it was where they were. I didn't say they randomly chose points in space. Absolutely, I agree with you. Lab we cleared that up. But anyway, gentlemen, I have to get on with work. I'm doing stupid things with a camera view projection, not related to Flat Earth. Thanks for the chat.
We're not bothered about the models here, you know. You can.
No, this is my work.
Yeah.
This is my work. This is nothing to do with fucking Flat Earth.
Well, yeah, this is nothing here. Is nothing to do with Flat Earth either. I don't know why you keep bringing it up.
Relating to concepts and stuff in this field.
We just
Model
try and deal with
affliction.
the basic logic here.
Then I wish you luck for your basic logic discussion with Mr. Sensible, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you very much. See you later.
Right. What do you think of that then?
Quite a good chat, that. Yeah, a discussion with Mr. Sensible. Let me come back in here. Close the screen down. Thank you very much, Discord. Model Affliction Monday. I wanted to put that one out earlier on today, but I guess, I mean, may as well just have it on in here. That perhaps one of the most model afflicted, because he makes models for everybody else as well. He makes models to give everybody else. So he sort of he pushes the models. Model pusher.
I was just gonna say that was a good choice for Model Affliction Monday.
Yeah. But again, he did say that he, like, there's nothing that he does that comes from reality. He says it's all just scientifically accepted stuff, but I'd say you can't science geometry. Geometry is geometry. Like the measurement of the earth, like the land, and like surveying. It's those people that have the measurements that he should be getting all of his data from. And they don't measure any drop or curvature of level. It's horizontal. So when he says he gets his model from, not from reality and from the scientific consensus, he doesn't mean scientific consensus. He just means the internet, Google. He just Googles numbers. What is the radius? Oh, 3959. I mean, that's not anything, because that's made from the model. That's what the model predicts. I mean, I don't know whether anybody really has gone into any depth of how exactly that model comes up with that number, but it's definitely not measured. I mean, I think that's one of the things we do need to start going over, is these where the numbers come from and the simple geometry that comes from where it all happens. I don't know. It's gonna, like I say, it's gonna get tough to talk about the model affliction, because I don't have it, and I don't think anybody's ever gonna come in here on a anymore to talk about their model. Not that we'll mock it or anything. I think this is one of those places where the the model just looks silly on its own. It's like one of those Hall of Mirrors. You actually look like it. It makes it look ridiculous whenever you expose this to reality and logic. Whenever you expose the model to reality and logic, that's it. The model looks silly. And that's what they were doing today. I do notice that we have lost a few of the trolls. They're like the big names have stepped out of the arena in the maybe because it's Model Affliction Monday. They may have a Quiplash game or something to play. You never know. My lad didn't make the thing. Shout out for all of the Quiplash players out there. That was interesting. It's something that I probably will never ever do. So what have we got coming up this week? Logic Night Tuesday tomorrow. That'll be interesting. I think we're going to have to go over paradoxes on Logic Night. Try and make some try and find some easy ways to explain this this new trifecta of paradoxes. And we need to go over the equipotential angle of adjustment, which is obviously a requirement of the Model Afflicted. And part of the relativistic surveying of the egocentric coordinate system. We're well advanced in the imaginometry.
That's some serious high-tech stuff there.
Yeah. I mean, we've done a deep dive into the globe model and the paradoxes involved. And the techniques that you are able to employ once you ignore reality and enter the relativistic world of the globe-minded person. I've learnt a lot just recently about, mainly what I came in here for. I came here to help my lad be able to, survive in the outside world. Well, he's finishing school this year, and then I can hopefully help him with what I've learned. It's perfect timing. And I mean, that's the main aim is to get people into the Discord. Has it joined? Has it worked? Has anybody else come in since we set up the new system? Maybe the invite. I wonder whether we need to put all the new invites back out again. I don't know whether that might. Oh, look, here we go. Model Afflicted.
Speaking of the Model Afflicted,
might be able to try out the new paradox on one of the prime Model Afflicted.
That should be interesting.
Yeah. Wonder what sort of an approach we will have
You don't understand.
Welcome, Brenda. You're definitely not muted. How's your mic? What sort of a mic have we got today? Good one? No, maybe not connected. Would you like the bot that we've got in the Discord? We call it Trigger Bot. I hope it doesn't.
I'm on my cell phone, so the mic might not be to your liking.
Oh yeah, that doesn't sound good. Let me see.
That doesn't sound good.
Go on, I'll add a bit more volume. It sounds.
Does that not sound good to you?
Okay, hold on, let me just adjust. I'll just get in your sound levels. Give us a tune. Sing us a song. I'll just adjust your levels.
You need to adjust my levels. What about the bot?
Do you like it?
No, it's dumb.
Unavoidable facts of reality. T-shirt logic. Which bits do you not like?
Well, none of it.
What? Straight lines are not circles, and circles are not straight lines. I mean, surely you can't disagree with that.
What's your proof for that?
What, that a circle isn't a straight line?
Yeah, what's your proof?
Because a circle needs a radius, like a disc. Like you can't have them being the same thing. That's ridiculous.
In math, you have to prove everything.
Yeah. What's a tangent? Is that a straight line?
A tangent
Yeah.
is perpendicular to another line.
A straight line, another straight line. Yeah, yeah. So what's the circle?
Point perpendicular to another surface or a line.
No, it's the radius. Tangent is at a point perpendicular to the radius at the point it touches the curve.
Tangent is not a radius, Bev.
I know. I said it's perpendicular to the radius at the point it touches the curve.
What if the curve doesn't have a radius? I just draw a curve on a piece of paper.
A curve that doesn't have a radius? Are you serious?
It's just a squiggle, it's
just a squiggle.
Yeah. I just take my hand.
It's not a tangent then.
Go bloop, bloop,
you don't need a tangent to it, surely.
Well, there could be a tangent to any part of the curve, couldn't
Where
there?
would the tangent be, though?
Well,
it can't be a straight line, can it, right? The tangent is a straight line, so the circle cannot be a straight line. Obviously, right? The tangent being a straight line is the proof that the circle is not a straight line. Surely.
So suppose I just take a piece of paper and I just draw a freehand curved line. It's not a circle.
Yeah.
It doesn't intersect itself, but it just kind of...
It's curved though, right? That's how you describe it. You describe it as a curved line. And then you're going to put a tangent to it, and the tangent is going to be a straight line. Right? So the curve cannot be straight. They're different.
Well, sure, but I think you have to kind of either prove things or define things. The problem with your Me 6 is it just spouts stuff that it just asserts things that are just...
What? Oh, you broke up then.
Do you even know what proof is?
Yeah. Do you?
In math.
Yeah, do you?
Sure.
Good. That's two of us then. Fantastic. Do you have any proof of your globe model?
we're talking about math.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In math, do you have any proof of your globe model?
Math and science are different things.
Yeah, I didn't say that. I said, in math, do you have any proof of your globe model?
What does math have to do with proving things in the real world?
Because you asked about, do we know what proof in math is? So I was just wondering.
Yeah, but proof in
Have you
math,
now swapped it into something else? I mean, if you have, that's fine. If we're going away from the proof in math, as long as you agree that you definitely do not have any mathematical, i.e. geometrical proof for your model that you're talking for now.
I can give arguments for the globe Earth, right?
Yeah, but no geometric proof.
They can't be mathematical, right? Because the real world isn't math.
Yeah, you can relate the real world to geometry. Absolutely.
You can relate them.
Yeah.
But it's not a necessary relation.
That's what the Meebot was talking about. You remember that?
Yeah, your Meebot is wrong.
It says horizontal is a straight line on a vertical plane. Well, that's dead geometrical, isn't it? And reality-based as well. Horizontal and vertical, they're in reality. And geometry. I mean, wow, the links must be there. Surely. The link between reality and geometry is within that one statement. Horizontal is a straight line on a vertical plane. Boom. Let's have that. Both of them exist in reality, don't they? A horizontal line and a straight and a vertical plane.
That doesn't make any sense, bro.
Oh, but it wouldn't to you. I understand that it sort of really simple, basic logic and stuff like that. You know, in reality, wouldn't make any sense to you at all. You don't even see the paradox. It literally, whenever there's a paradox there and somebody says the words, it just all looks like garbled sort of stuff, like the Matrix.
I don't know what paradoxes are, but the thing is that when you say it's a straight line on a plane, what do you like when I draw a straight line on a...
Oh, I don't know. I think you broke up there. Terrible.
If we're gonna, I hate this phone.
Yeah, sorry.
This phone, I hate it.
Yeah. Ah. Terrible. I don't know what was up with that though. Horizontal being a straight line on a vertical plane. I mean, I was going to talk about the Beddy thing, but I think we might leave that to Logic Night, even though it is model Affliction. I'm not too sure. I think it's better dealt off with the Logic. Beddy needs a bit of time off. He's took a bit of a beating over the past few days. I don't know where that was coming from, but yeah, we have a new bot in the on the server that posts basic facts that a lot of people are calling the 1984 bot. The trolls, mayn't you? Goes down quite well. It's got a few statements. I'll read through them. Straight lines are not circles. Circles are not straight lines. Horizontal is a straight line on a vertical plane. Well, we can work through them. Vertical is a straight line perpendicular to a horizontal plane.
Get out.
All horizontals are parallel. That's planes or lines. Doesn't really matter once you know how a horizontal is structured. And statement earlier, horizontal is a straight line on a vertical plane. Once you know why that occurs, then you get all perpendiculars to a horizontal plane will be parallel. That's a geometric fact statement. definition actually. Plumb and level are perpendicular to each other, and vertical and horizontal are perpendicular to each other as well.
Shocking.
Yeah. I mean, see the way those two statements, plumb and level, are perpendicular, and vertical and horizontal are perpendicular. It's almost as if the geometrical concepts of vertical and horizontal directly relate to plumb and level in reality. It's really
unbelievable.
Weird. Some people seem to say that level is not horizontal, though, which is strange, seeing as they seem to have the same characteristics as plumb and vertical and level and horizontal, both being perpendicular to each other. I mean, my logical conclusion to that is that level is horizontal.
It's probably a coincidence.
Yeah, you'd have to have employ some strange globlogic to not see the connection between those. But yeah, the bot's been posting that all day, and the group of people that we have in here have been reacting accordingly. But that came from an initial conversation about the vertical plane paradox, which I think I might have to write a thing up about paradox. I was saying, I think Emma's a little bit ill. I'll get well soon, Emma. I think Emma needs to do another paradox instruction video on what a paradox is, and a couple of examples of what a paradox is, so people can understand how the contradiction takes place that forms around a paradox and the reason for it. Because it seems like there's a lot of globe defenders that just literally don't understand what a paradox is, and it's strange that Brenda's left, because Brenda's definitely one of the ones that would like to be able to talk to, because the understanding of the paradox and the acceptance of the paradox obviously has to come has to be taught to them for people like Brenda. Brenda's one of the leaders of this new Big Lebowski geometry, logic / contradictions within logic, contradictory proofs, contradictory concepts within it. And so it would be good if Brenda gets a phone. I mean, maybe one of the phones in the cubicle has the bad connection. Needs to go and get issued a new phone.
Is there no one else besides Brenda that wants to come in? Is Brenda the only brave one?
It's tough to talk about models. Nobody will ridicule anybody talking about any models on a Monday. I don't. Yeah. I think there's a group of Globers that I don't know whether you call them Globers or not. Maybe Globe Earth Society. Let's call that. That sounds like a good name for them. And these people have to lead an argument. To help confuse people, and they're more so confusing the globe earthers into thinking that we here are part of the, I call in quotes, flat earth community, and therefore we can be dismissed, because that's a lot of what the globe argument is, I've noticed, is building a straw man of a flat earther, labeling somebody with the tag flat earther, then you can dismiss anything they say, even when it's an obvious paradox that they've got built within their model, from given to them from somebody who says that they can obviously prove it's not flat. I mean, it doesn't take much to be able to prove it's not flat. You've just got to show an elevation change. You could prove that all horizontals are parallel. There's an elevation change between those parallel planes. That proves it's not flat. There's an elevation change. I mean, but level being horizontal is also proved by what the water does, the water level. The fact that all horizontal planes are parallel is how you measure an elevation change. It's a strange thing for people to get a grip on at the beginning of how all of this takes place, but I'm guessing it's the argument. It's the initial argument that people are given to start off with. And if you're given a circular argument, then that's where you go. Circles. Forever round and round. Oh yeah, sorry Paige, we need to keep an eye on everybody with the chat. If anybody's listening and you do want to come in, we have reordered the way the Discord server works. There's a rule thing. We're going to be going on the community soon, hopefully, expanding our reaches, and that comes with certain things that we have to do. So there's a rules thing that you have to tick to say that you've read the rules, and then you can come on in. Yeah, we're going new places with the Discord. I think the Buster's not here at the minute, but he did say that this week, hopefully, if he's not ill, we will be doing a live Buster and Shane set music, hopefully being a regular thing. Hopefully most of these nights are going to be a regular thing also. Try and mix it up, see what we can do different nights. But mainly we will end up being out here, but then over in the Discord. Mainly the last few times after we've finished here and we've clicked the end of this, we go into the Discord. And obviously that's when everybody wants to come in and have a chat. Anybody can come in at these nights, come and have a chat, but I think they get a bit embarrassed because it's live on the YouTube. So obviously the conversations happen afterwards in the Discord. Obviously, probably recorded, so you get to hear them recorded if you know, if you're not there. But if you want to get involved in the conversation, come on into the Discord. I think this is the Discord's where it's all at, where most of the conversation and obviously most of the understanding of all of this stuff. Some of the stuff we've done today over the vertical plane paradox, some of the people in here haven't really gone over it. That will be gone over later, obviously, when we're off air, because it takes time to work through it and ask questions and how it works and how it came about, which I would like to have a conversation with everybody, because I think it's what we should be going over tomorrow, which again is going over. I'm going to call it Beddy's paradox that he's brought around with his rebuttal to T-shirt logic. Has developed this new paradox, which is definitely going to be interesting, because I think this is a game changer, really. They're going to have to go to new lengths of denial to be able to do all of this, get over this vertical plane paradox. I mean, it all seems so really weird and like early advancements, right, that we made. I don't know. I mean, Paige was with us when we were over at Ranty's, and Rumpus was doing it, and we had Paige's proof of the verticals not being vertical. There was two different verticals that established because of the model. Like, that is another part that somehow must be able to fit into the initial the paradox of establishing a horizontal plane. It's part of the horizontal paradox. It might be. I think we might be able to use that, actually, Paige. Let me see if I can log that in my head. The horizontal paradox is a paradox because it's a tangent plane, and that plane is involving I think what we called at the time, was it Paige's proof? I think it was Paige's proof. Where the verticals, we had a vertical like a testicle and a geometric vertical that was perpendicular to the horizontal. But I mean, all of these things are coming back around, right? But they're showing themselves to be part of the paradox, right? Where one thing has to occur, but on the model, something else has to occur. Like, there's a definite difference between what happens in reality and the perceived reality of most globers, and what the model dictates they've got to have when put in the position of actually looking at it from a reality point of view. They always go with the reality, but it's the globe model that throws up the paradox. And it's that paradox that we're going to have to look into, right? It's a model affliction. It's only model-specific paradoxes. If you don't have the model, these things aren't paradoxes. They just don't exist as a paradox. And that's why a lot of people will look at you really weird. Like, you're saying strange things. That's not a paradox. Well, anyone who says that obviously doesn't have the model, understand the model, or know much about the the geometric proofs of reality and vertical and horizontal being perpendicular. How simple it all is. How simple a truth there is in the vertical and the horizontal. Proofs in reality and proofs in truths. Everybody knows them to be truths as well. And the model throws up these paradoxes, and you have to deny basic truths.
We're moving into the, like we were saying, the paradox acceptance stage, maybe, where they're going to have to adopt a paradox.
Yeah,
accept the paradox.
Well, yeah, what was it? Those stages of, and I can't even remember what they are. Stages of, is it grief or something?
Yeah.
Where, like, you, at first, there's a denial. I think that's the stage that they're in at the minute, where they're denying the paradox exists, which these people that we're talking to are the most severely model afflicted. They're the ones that come in to tell us about their model. Like, they're so model afflicted, but they're the ones that are telling us that there's no paradox. But I mean, there's no paradox if you don't have a model. But if you have a model, that's what brings the paradox in. It's definitely there as a paradox. So what's that? Denial, anger, insults, then something, then acceptance. So they've got a few stages to go through first. I think the anger one's always there as well. That comes with everything.
I think they start. Yeah, they start with that one. That's built in.
They start with it, and it never goes away. Even when they're accepting it, it's going to be an angry acceptance of something.
Yeah.
Sort of comes with the model disbelief or whatever.
It's the default set position when they come from the company. They're set to anger. Anger and insult mode. That's standard.
Bev, check profit rolls.
Okay. That sounds good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they get all my old videos, and they take. There's a lot of people that really take a look at all of this sort of stuff. But yeah.
Different heights. So damn stupid. You see that essay in private row?
Yeah, it's insane, bro. Yeah. The mental gymnastics they have to perform in order, not to accept the paradox is astonishing.
Yeah, denial. Like he said, first stage, angry denial. Just it's not there. But I mean, the model is the one that gives them the paradox. It doesn't exist in reality. If you have level as being horizontal and plumb as being vertical and horizontal and vertical being perpendicular, a horizontal plane existing, level being horizontal, and then There's no paradox. You don't need to wrap it around a ball. There's no ball there to have to wrap it around. There's no such thing as a tangent. It doesn't even come into it. There's only right lines and right angles. Parallels. Perpendiculars. But the model definitely causes a contradiction there. And that's where we're... I'm guessing that's where we're sitting at the minute. As far as the model Affliction. Brought to us this morning by a message from WS. Brought us the vertical plane paradox. Because on a globe model, a vertical plane cannot have verticals being parallel on it. And you cannot put a horizontal perpendicular to that vertical. It sounds ridiculous for me, Dan. I'm just trying to imagine what it is I'm saying. That on the globe model, the vertical plane can't exist. Reductio ad absurdum. For if it were, then the horizontal plane couldn't exist. Because it would be perpendicular to the vertical plane. And that cannot happen as there are no horizontal planes on the globe model. Yeah, it's tricky to even hear, I'm guessing. Even the ballers will be thinking that sounds ridiculous. But that's what they're going to have to accept. That's before we even start measuring angles. Oh, right, so I want to get on into discussing about this vertical plane paradox ready for tomorrow. And it doesn't look like we've got any model afflicted people coming, and it's, to be honest, it's absolutely boring talking about the model Affliction on a Monday when there's not much more. Has anybody got anything they want to say? And we'll wrap it up and go into the after show Discord party, and we'll do a deep dive into the vertical plane paradox. Run everyone.
It was good. I'd like to say it was good to see the main model afflicted, the one that makes the models. Shout out to Stingray. That was very good, very eye-opening.
Yeah, I think it would be good to, especially if we can get those models into Blender and see whether we can maybe Blender model Ricky's bridge and his lake, see whether we can find a hump in the middle of that lake, maybe see whether we can see Blue's 4-foot earthwork money saving thing at Ricky round by Ricky's. I mean, Ricky gets all of the action over there, doesn't he?
Well, he's got the tractors and the movers, so who's gonna get the? Yeah, of course, he's gonna get it.
I can't believe the Logos involved in all of that. You know, it's
That's
unbelievable.
crazy. What are the odds? What are the odds? Two of the things that we talk about. It's wow, the Logos, like you said, yeah.
Right, so anyone else got anything to say before we wrap it up? I'll get a Buster song ready. Tomorrow night, Logic Night, will be a big one. I think we're gonna try and put these paradoxes together, and I don't know. I'm saying that these 3 paradoxes, very simple, very easy, logical statements. We'll try and get them set up in a logical way for tomorrow. We're gonna get the team on it in a bit. If you want to come and get involved with it, put the somebody put the thing out for the Discord server, and hopefully, is it working? Have we had people join? I don't know whether it is working or not. Somebody come and click the link, come and join us and get into this. We're gonna go, like I say, and deep dive into the vertical plane paradox and get everybody run through it. Try and bring everybody up to speed and how to use this. I'm just gonna get this Buster song on for agents. So thank you very much. Join us tomorrow, Logic Night, and please come and join us on the in the Discord. You'll learn so much more. See you tomorrow.
It's the echo in your brain. You know you can't sustain the misconceptions in your mind. One day you'll see for sure what all of this was for. Then you can leave it all behind. The journey begins. I am the one, yeah, that will show the proof. I am the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the Logos. In the beginning was found this thing that cannot speak. It's how we all truly learn. It's only ever attained when one lets go of fear. So don't let wisdom pass you by. The journey begins. I am the one, yeah, that will show the proof. I am the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the Logos. It was there all along. How could I never have seen this thing that's danced all around? It wasn't until I left behind the things I believed that I could see things so clear. The journey begins. Become the one, yeah, that will show the proof. Become the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. Become the whispers of the logic in their mind. Become an agent of the Logos. Become an agent of the Logos. We are the agents of the Logos.